Like to call the meeting to order, District of Chetwynd. I would like to call to order and have the statement read, please.
As we gather today on the traditional territory of the Treaty 8 Nations to conduct the business of the District of Chetwynd, we do so knowing that we are privileged to serve the citizens of this community, and we shall endeavor to conduct our business in their best interests. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Prior to adoption of the agenda, is there any new business? Councillor? Staff? Not seeing any. Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. Minutes of the regular council meeting held on June 19th, 2023. Any omissions? Errors? Okay, motion's been made.
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. We'll carry on to delegations. Jonathan Bornjaz, right? Okay, pretty close. So thank you very much for attending, Jonathan. Glad to see you here. I see you at a couple of job fairs, which was very nice. So give us what you got, and we'll go from there. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Mayor and Council. It's very nice to meet the rest of you. I've met the Mayor a few times, as he said, in job fairs in the area. Yeah, my name is John Burgess, very close, Mr. Mayor. I know it's a hard one to steal a joke from my dad. He couldn't afford vowels as a kid, so that's what he left me with. I'm the clinical operations manager for BCHS for the Northeast District. So that includes all the communities and ambulance stations in the Peace, the Northern Rockies, as well as Atlin. And just wanted to give you an update about your local ambulance service in Chetwynd, as well as the Greater Peace, because we have some exciting news and we're starting to stabilize staffing in the area. So BCHS, as you know, is a provincial organization, and we have our top two priorities are to provide timely and exceptional service to British Columbians when and where they need ambulance services, as well as to be an outstanding employer in supporting the wellness of call takers, dispatch, and all paramedic staff. We're enhancing emergency services across the province as well as the Peace in rural and remote stations such as Chetwynd to serve your community and surrounding areas. And we're conducting a national and international recruitment campaign to bring recruitment and training to rural and remote communities. And on that note, I want to thank the District of Chetwynd to be an early adopter and support our EMR high school program, the coordinator of that program, so that you were very willing and offered a letter of support without even being asked for it. So I'm not sure exactly where in the process of getting it into your local high school, but I really want to commend yourselves as mayor and council to get that letter of support in early, because we do need to look to the future for our young people to recruit them into this profession, because it is a great profession. So we have different staffing models. We have both full-time and regular part-time hours, as well as on home carrying a pager to respond to emergencies. So currently Chetwynd is predominantly staffed hours. We do have a backup pager car just at nighttime. So we've gone to two staffed ambulances during the day, and one staffed and then one backup pager at night. And then our ground response is also supplemented by the participation of approximately 275 agencies in our first responder program. So we just recently ratified a new 3-year collective agreement with the aim to stabilize staffing, increase employee retention, improve employee wellness, and improve coverage and patient care, particularly in rural and remote areas. There's been significant work and development at looking at our rural and remote stations and to stabilize the staffing in these areas. Some general improvements is a general wage increase in each year of the agreement. For the first time in BCHS history, our paramedics are making more than our counterparts in Alberta and as well as surpassing industry. So we've had several industry complain essentially to me that we're stealing their people back to the public sector. So that is extremely good news for myself trying to recruit and stabilize staffing, as well as you, the general public that we serve, is that we're able to retain and recruit paramedics. Cost of living allowance is also built into the 2023 and 2024, and improved benefits for mental health as well as other healthcare services across the board. When they are carrying a pager, they've transitioned from it used to be free and then $2 an hour. They're now getting $12 an hour to carry a pager. There's increased premiums for night shift, working weekends as well. So how does that affect Chetwynd? We're not out of the woods yet when it comes to having stable staffing, but we're getting there. Currently, 75% of our full-time positions are full. The majority that are empty are what we call our regular full-time positions. So we have permanent full-time, which have a dedicated schedule. Our irregular full-time essentially exists to backfill the vacation of the permanent full-time. The irregular full-time, it's still a full-time job. You have full-time hours, full-time benefits, vacation, but those are the positions that we're currently trying to fill, as well as casual. So casual or part-time backfill everybody. That's where we're looking to recruit the most right now, is to get those casual part-time members into the station. We're in the middle of our round 4 of provincial posting. I am very optimistic that we will fill those remaining full-time positions in the next couple of months. And that with the enhancements, so adding your second day car, which was late November, we've finally been able to fill this month. And that moved from 9 full-time jobs in Chetwynd to 15. So we're up to 15 just at your local ambulance station, 15 full-time, well-paying benefit jobs. Call volume in Chetwynd has been increasing steadily. So in 2022, that's 310 calls. Now that is just 911 emergency calls. That doesn't include transfers into or out of your hospital, which would a little bit more than double that number. There's a significant amount of work transferring patients from Chetwynd to other hospitals to get diagnostic or additional treatments needed. And then finally, just when it comes to recruitment retention, the biggest thing I could ask for from mayor and council, is opportunities to present to people potentially interested in the ambulance service, as well as, if you know any young people, steer them towards this job. There is no better time to join BCHS. Essentially, as long as you're 19 with a class 4 driver's license and a clean criminal records check, we will hire you as a driver only. We will then pay for all of your training to become an EMR. EMRs are getting full-time spots, and as soon as you get a full-time position, we're paying for all the costs associated for you to go do your primary care paramedic, whether at a local program in Dawson Creek, Fort St. John, or one of the full-time positions in Kamloops, Kelowna, Vancouver. So we are essentially taking somebody, all they need is a class 4, and we're moving them through all the steps of the process, that at the end, they're a full-time primary care paramedic making an extremely livable wage and a good wage with benefits. So there's a lot of support for new people, and we're seeing that process play out, where I now have people graduating as full-time primary care paramedics that started as driver onlys in their community. I just met one of our new local Chetwynd hires. I don't know about born and raised, but she's been in the community a long time. We've just hired as a driver only. She just got back from her new employee orientation in Vancouver, and she's already signed up for an EMR course, which the organization will pay for. That'll allow her to get a full-time job, and then we'll pay for her primary care paramedic schooling. So really unprecedented times to try to get into this profession and to try and become a paramedic. BCHS is overall is a complex system. We try to work effectively as a provincial model to ensure ambulance staffing to every community. And from minor emergencies to multi-casualty incidents, from metro and urban communities to rural remote, there's many moving parts in this system, and we're always trying to staff all areas as best as we can. Any questions for me?
Councillors? No?
I attended the community engagement over at the ambulance station there, and I just think it could have been a little better advertised. It was a great program you guys had put on. Just could have been a little better advertised.
For sure. And that's, I know that's something we're working on, getting even new banners for the ambulance station and getting more word of mouth out as well. Radio, you know, when we're doing job fairs, we're trying to get on more radio and social media as well. We do have a very good talent acquisition recruitment department that will come into town. We've had people come into town as well that will really blast out for all sorts of engagement when it comes to advertising. But yeah, definitely, Councillor, it's something we've noted that we can do better at, and something we're working to improve upon.
Thank you for presenting to us today. My question is in regards to the length of time required for the training to become fully certified.
Great question. So an EMR course is around 2 to 3 weeks, and that will allow you to start practicing as a pre-hospital provider. A primary care paramedic or PCP program is now generally between 6 and 12 months, depending on whether you're doing a full-time versus part-time or hybrid program, and then as well as how quickly you get through your preceptorship, which is the time where you'd be riding third on an ambulance and observing and participating. So generally around 6 to 12 months of that training. But the majority of our members locally will be working full-time except when they're in school, and then doing part-time in the weekends in Dawson Creek. So you are getting essentially paid the whole time you're doing it, as well as long as you have you're in a full-time position to primary care. Casuals will pay for the EMR. So as soon as you're in the door as a driver only, we'll pay for everything associated, travel costs to get your emergency medical responder.
That sounds like a pretty brilliant way to get an education quite quickly. My other question is in regards to housing. Are you struggling with housing your people?
So we are right now, a lot of our members that are working full-time in Chetwynd are not living in community. We have a lot that are commuting in from Hudson's Hope, Dawson Creek, and Tumbler Ridge. But I haven't heard any complaints about housing thus far. Everyone that's wanted to either find rental or property in town has been able to find it. But I'm hoping with an influx of even more full-time people that we will have to find them housing. So no concerns that have been noted to me yet.
One of the only organizations in Chetwynd.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard one staff pager for the evening. Are you finding that sufficient?
No, sorry. So we have one staffed ambulance. So we have one ambulance that's on through the night. They are at the station available, and then we have one pager backup car. So yeah, it's sufficient for now. And the other thing to note is that if Chetwynd ambulance goes out on a call, or especially is leaving the community, then the vast majority of the time it's going to be backfilled with another ambulance, most often by Dawson Creek, just because usually the call volume and also the distances involved, because the next ambulance station through the pass is Mackenzie. So we try to keep an ambulance over this side to service this area.
Thank you. And I just want to second what Julia said too. Thank you very much for coming and presenting to us today. And it's all very positive information. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. It is very, it's been a lot of trying times for BCHS, but there really is that hope at the end of the tunnel. It's not going to be all smooth sailing, but we really are making progress, and a lot of amazing people are coming through our doors to become employees and wanting to serve their communities. So there's a lot of local buy-in, which is amazing to see.
Any more questions? Hey, Johnson, I get one about connectivity. When you do head out to Tumbler Ridge and out west, what kind of, do you have the radio system that you have that could connect you to, yeah, going through the pass and going to Tumble Ridge. I know we can't connect by our phones, but yeah, you have a system that,
Yeah, so we have our radio repeater system is pretty good going through the pass. Um, we do have a repeater on what that's gonna on Lemeray, as well as one additional one. I can't remember which mountain it's on. We can also access the roads networks if needed, as well as every ambulance out here will have a satellite phone as well. It just depends where the satellite is in relation to the mountain. So while we don't have cell coverage, we do have communications that we're able to communicate in the pass. Yeah.
technical question. When we were at the stars, the chopper that comes up and takes the system, how are we evolving with our ambulance to get the doctors, the nurses with that information while you're still in your vehicle? Is it getting close to what they have? Because they're very sophisticated in the chopper that they can send all their information just about right to what's going on in the vehicle to the doctor and the nurses, so they are better prepared when they get their patient, right? So how efficient are we getting in our ambulances?
So it's something we're still working on. For Chetwynd Hospital, it'll still be, as far as letting the doctors and nurses knowing what's going on scene, it's still going to be either via radio or cell, so a verbal report. Also for when it comes to helicopter resources in Chetwynd, you're more likely to actually be serviced by Prince George, because there is a helicopter out of Prince George, and we are improving our air ambulance fleet over the next couple of years. And the new helicopter that we're getting, the AW139, don't quote me on that, I'm not an aviation expert, is going to have sufficiently more range than what we currently use. So you will be more under that coverage area out of Prince George. Not to say that we won't bring in stars as necessary. We're always looking to bring in the best resources available as needed, but definitely with the current and the future airframe out of Prince George, you'll be able to have increased helicopter coverage for the district of Chetwynd.
Get good, Jimmy.
One more quick question. Does your staff struggle with the similar street numbers of Chetwynd, being that there's a few 44s, a few 45s? Is that an issue that comes up?
Not that I've been made aware of, because our CAD system, or computer aided dispatch, is pretty good, that it'll actually drop down the address as essentially a dot on the map that our crew drives towards. So as long as the members of the public are giving the right information to our dispatch center, then our dispatchers are able to plop essentially a dot right on top of your house or anybody's house that's calling, or any location, to say this is exactly where you're going to. And sometimes, especially as you go out of town, it might just be essentially a GPS coordinate. So it's just as long as our dispatch is getting the right information, it's pretty reliable. It's when the member of the public doesn't know where they are, and that's not just unique to Chetwynd, where it gets it gets more difficult for us to find them.
Thank you. One question. When you mentioned you got a 3-year deal, and maybe it's not a question, maybe just comment on it was a great negotiations that you got from $2 to 12, so that was great on your part. Do you know any of those negotiators? Do you guys have an input to them as members, or do they run on their own, just taking suggestions through writing, or do you guys meet and talk about these issues?
So I'm not in the union, so probably not the best question for myself as far as the union operates. But as far as I know, they gather information as far as needs from all of their members, and then it filters up through their various levels of their union to have essentially their top points that they're looking to negotiate for. But yeah, it was a very successful negotiation this time. I think everybody essentially walked away from the table pretty happy. So it should set us up for success, not only today, but for the future as well, because wage parity and being behind firefighters or police officers, not only and as well as industry and Alberta was really hurting us to keep and retain people. So that's not the case anymore.
Okay, see any other question? Jonathan, what a great time we're having here with trying to get our emergency all that set up. We're just looking for nurses now, so if you know any nurses out there?
I would love, believe me, Mr. Mayor, I try. I'm originally from Ontario and I sell BC all the time to my, not only my paramedic, but nursing friends, doctor friends to come out here. So I'm your biggest advocate to try to get people out here because I live here with my family as well in the piece. So I'll try my best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, everybody.
We'll go on to bylaw. This is Chetwynd Solid Waste Collection and Disposal Service bylaw number 1163, 2023 requires first, second, and third readings. Julie?
Motion for first, second, and third reading?
Second. Mr. Deck? Any discussion on the matter? Go ahead, Councillor.
What is the difference between this bylaw and the previous? What are the changes?
Go ahead, staff.
There are very few changes, mostly housekeeping stuff going through it, some minor wording here and there. And in the original or the previous bylaw, there was a clause that people were able to buy a second container, and we did not have that rate included in the schedule. So that's the major change that we made, was we added in number 3 on Schedule A.
Thank you. And it's quite dark on my copy. What are those headings? Is that like quarterly and annually, or?
On the first, on numbers 1 and 2, they would be quarterly and annual charges, yes. And then under the on option 3, they're the purchase. It's just an outright purchase. That's their card. It becomes their card after that.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, all of in favor? Carried. Committee reports and liaison reports. Any? Mayor's report? On June 27th, PRD was invited to attend the viewing of the Clenza Caribou Maternal Pen west of Chetwynd. In the pen, I was part of the group that attended, and in the pen I saw 20, well, there are 22 caribou and 22 were pregnant, and one wasn't. The night before we attended, a mother had passed while giving birth to a calf, but the calf made it, but the mother didn't. At that point, when we were talking to the guardians, they were pretty disappointed. So it was kind of a good thing that we visited, but it was bad that they lost mother. So the guardians themselves, they're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until they release. It's approximately 2 months after the last calf is dropped. So given birth, so it's about 2 months. So I was there June 27th. They're expecting their calves all to be on the ground, but there was one that wasn't born yet. So they were waiting, and then they start the timer from there and try to get them all healthy enough to get out into the wilderness. So after 2 months, they release them, and they try to get all the predators taken care of outside the pen so that they have a clear path to get to where their destinations are. But it was at the beginning, they were talking about it was pretty difficult because the smell of caribou inside the pen drew all the predators. So right from cougars, wolverines, grizzly bears, black bears, all these predators, wolves especially. So they were all taken care of, given the path in the area. So this was all explained, and he had a pamphlet. So the biologist there, he was giving us all this information. He was just running through it. So I didn't get too much of it, but he says if we want it, I could get some from Chief Wilson and Westmo. They'll give us all that information if we're interested in reading about it. So the Guardians are made up of members from Westmo and Soto. So these stay there. They do shifts. So one will do 7, and then another time they'll do 7, and they're watching the pen 24 hours a day. Somebody is awake at the time, at all times of the day and night. So it's very important for the First Nations and for the region to have a species that's brought back from extirpation, meaning that there's caribou down in the north, but they were just about extinct in this area. And in our talks with Chief Wilson, he asked if anybody was interested in adopting or creating a pen south, that be in Tumbler Ridge and area, if any of the communities were interested in getting together to organize some pen down south of us here for this kind of adventure. We went from 38 caribou here in the area to 140 approximately after all the calves are being born. So they just about 400% more. So that was quite the thing since 2016. So it was quite the thing. I got to see 2 caribou, and they said, "Well, where are they?" Says, "Well, when you go in there, even when the Guardians go in there, they go to the bush. You take quite an area, and they go into the bush." But there was one mother and one calf that was quite a ways up, and the mother there was a feeding trough just to the right of us. So the mother went to the trough. So that was quite exciting for us. Anybody that hasn't seen a caribou, uh, we got to see them. I have a couple photos that I'll drop off with Deanna, and maybe we'll send them to all of us. And so, but anyway, it was quite exciting to see a caribou. I've seen a couple before in the area, but not the way this one. It was walked right in front of us, right, and going to the feeding pen. So that was very exciting. Then on July 4th, we met with Northern Health and got introduced to Becky Borton, the new health service administrator. So we're looking forward to working with Becky. She's lived in Chetwynd approximately all her life, and she was telling us that only time that she didn't live here was when she went to school for her education. So it's very important that we have somebody that's in the community that's looking after us in Northern Health that we could relate to as being a community member. So it's very, very good stuff for Chetwynd and for Becky and for Northern Health. July 5th, I met with the PRD, and we went to Fort St. John to meet with Minister Murray Rankin, Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation. PRD discussed the board meeting held on June 8th, where there was some controversy over a land sharing delegation put on by Zion Strategies Limited principal owner Dale Bumstead. If you're interested in what went on in that June 8th meeting, you can refer to the website of the PRRD June 8th board meeting, Pomeroy, Fort St. John. Minister Rankin asked that we not mention too much what went on in the meeting. So that's why I'm not mentioning what went on in the meeting. But if you want some of the information, go to that June 8th on what transpired at that meeting. That's what we talked about with Minister Rankin. July 7th, 8th, and 9th, I attended Pemmican Days, had a great feast Friday evening, and there was good entertainment throughout the weekend. Met with the new elected chief, Rudy Paquette, congratulated him on his being elected chief, and invited him to see with Chetwynd, and said we should get together soon. So I will get our CAO to send an invite to Rudy to get us to have a meeting with the new council. So, and then on July 28th, 29th, and 30th, West Mole held their days. And another wonderful time. Both nations are very inviting. It was quite entertainment. We had some traditional dancers at both places, so it was good. We had entertainment being West Mo. What do they call that entertainment where you sing in front of everybody? It slips my mind right now. But anyway, it was great entertainment, and the food's always great. Black Diamond, partner with West Moberly, they gave us they cooked and we had steak and shrimp and all the fixings at West Moberly, so they did a great job. So it was quite nice. So other than that, it's been a slow summer. And I'd like to thank the staff for not bothering me while I was on holidays. Thank you very much. Any others for, and we've got one administrative report that we take.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Basandowski has provided a letter he asked me to read. It's dated as of August 7th. It says, please accept this as notice that effective November 1st, 2023, I will be relinquishing my position of councillor for the District of Chetwynd. The careers of my family and I have moved us away from Chetwynd, and as a result, I will no longer be able to fulfill my duties in this role. I will fulfill my duties remotely until November 1st, 2023. This hopefully will give time for a by-election. I feel I'm leaving this position with the district having a strong balance sheet in terms of cash, reserves, and borrowing power. Chetwynd has done a good job upgrading their infrastructure, but there's still a lot of old pipes in the ground, and the cost of upgrades are always increasing. Roads continue to deteriorate, and the cost of paving continues to increase. A municipality's main source of income is taxes, and the cost of providing services continues to rise, and the notion of zero tax increases is not realistic or financially responsible. Chetwynd is financially strong, in my opinion, but is facing reduced tax revenue and uncertain grant securement, as well as aging infrastructure. Asset management and intense financial planning are going to be key moving forward. I would like to encourage many people in town to consider running for my seat on council and carry on with strong objectives of providing our taxpayers with a safe, productive, and prosperous community to raise families in. Sincerely, Councillor Bazandowski. I do have hard copies of this for anybody that wishes one, and we'll post it as well on the website and Facebook at Councillor Basandowski's request.
Thank you, Steve. That's quite a loss for Chetwynd and for our council and for the community. It was kind of difficult to see. I know I knew his wife for many years. I knew his mother-in-law for several years in Chetwynd. She grew up here, and she was here when we moved to Chetwynd. And so she was born here, I believe, in here at Dawson Creek, but she grew up most of her life here. And then she met Clay, and they had their daughter here. And so it's going to be a big loss to the community itself, and not to mention to us with his insight. All right, discussion items. Email from Tansy Friendship Center Society dated July 6, 2023, letters of support.
I'd like to make a recommendation that council provide letter of support to the Tansy Friendship Center Society for its grant applications to Northern Development Initiative Trust for these 3 projects. 1, employing a program director. 2, fortifying mental health and addiction services. And 3, improving front desk efficiency and developing volunteer management program.
Second.
Discussion on the matter?
I'll just add that it's my opinion that Tansy Friendship Center would be doing excellent work. And my humble opinion is that whatever help we can provide, it should be sent.
Any more? All those in favor? Carried. Invite from Oventive Dawson Creek Rodeo Event.
I make that recommendation that council authorize Mayor Coutre to attend the Primitive Dawson Creek Rodeo event at the Dawson Creek Exhibition and Stampede on August 29th, 2023 in Dawson Creek, BC, and ride bareback.
I'll second that.
Second,
I second.
okay,
Sure.
can I just make an amendment? No. So, please, that any counselor besides the mayor, if I get a second,
I'll second.
okay. If that's all right with staff?
We might have one potential issue where the date for the RSVP has passed, but we'll see if we can, what we can do with that. We'll make an effort.
Yes?
We'll see what we can do. The invite was for the mayor only and it's passed, but we'll see what we can do for
Okay.
sure.
You'll get back to us?
Yes,
Like,
I'll send an email. Well, maybe give me 45 minutes. It's a long agenda today.
okay. But in the meantime, we're passing this, okay, Councilor Ward?
It actually does say, UN guest.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the past, that was his worship, or the mayor's +1. So yeah, I guess he could. That should be anybody.
Maybe bend it and we'll say.
Yeah.
My guess, there's my guess, there's my guess. Okay, so on the amendment. All those in favor? Okay, with the amendment. On the.
Yep.
Recommendation, all those in favor? Okay. I'm sure we know the mayor of Dawson Creek, do we? And we know Dale. I think Dale's doing this one. We'll pull some strings. Email from Sergeant Juanice Antonio Stevens dated June 8th, 2023. Magnetic door sign, citizens on patrol.
Make the recommendation that council approve using the attached COPS program, including door sign layout with the District of Chetwynd's information.
Well, that's right.
Discussion on it? Okay, all those in favor? Carry. Correspondence, letter from the Union of BC Municipalities dated July 17th, 2023, provincial response to 2022 resolutions.
Motion to receive.
Second.
Okay, good. Do we need to vote on that one, CAO?
Yes.
Okay, any discussion on it? All those in favor? Carried. Information items, I1 to I-24. Is there any that need to be pulled, councillors?
I want
Second.
All those in favor? Carried. Reports for action. RA1 Boulevard Walkway Trails. Walkway Trail.
Make the recommendation that council approve the award of the contract to Parallel Signs Inc. for $109,286.42. GST included for the walkway trail project located along Veterans Way and South Access Boulevard.
I'll second.
Councillor Smith, second. Any discussion on it? Go ahead, Councillor McDonald.
Sorry, just to refresh my memory, this is within the range of approval for the capital budget? Like do you want clarification?
Yes, please, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So the $109,000, that is like, this was part of the 2023 plan, budget plan?
It wasn't initially, so they did include the 2023 financial plan to be amended.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, any more? All those in favor? Carried. RA2 Chetwynd Society for Community Living Rotary Building Lease.
I'll make the recommendation that the Chetwynd Society for Community Living be granted an extension on their lease of the Rotary Building for the period of 5 years, commencing August 1st, 2023.
Any discussion on it? All those in favor? Carried. Support for non-resident nurses.
I'll make the recommendation that the District of Chetwynd purchase a hybrid all-wheel drive vehicle to be made available to nurses working in Chetwynd on short-term temporary basis, and that the funds be allocated from the COVID-19 Reserve Fund, and that the financial plan be amended accordingly.
Second? Any second, councillors?
I'll second.
Okay. Discussion?
Has there been any, I know they have one or two of these vehicles in Dawson Creek, they're supplied by one of the car companies, if I'm not mistaken. Has there been anybody approach them for some type of donation, or are they just gonna use that bit of COVID funds?
Good stuff.
We could absolutely approach the dealerships first. We don't have any in Chetwynd, so we haven't yet, but we can for sure.
There's a lot of people that go to Dawson and buy
Yeah.
vehicles.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good information too, when you do approach them, that we do go there and buy vehicles from all dealers. Go ahead, Councilor.
Thank you. My question is in regards to why Northern Health isn't covering this expense.
I would have to ask Northern Health. That's my easy answer. Councilor?
How the COVID relief fund, is there like a end date on that? Are those funds just till we spend it all?
Yeah, the COVID relief fund, the province gave us, I believe, $985,000, and we just have to report to them every year until we've spent it all. But they didn't put any real restrictions on it, so internally we've tried to keep it to kind of one-time expenses so that it's not something that's ongoing that is then going to fall down to the taxpayer afterwards.
And there's no district fleet vehicle that could be used, like if that's not currently being used, or over the, like the summer ones over the winter or something like that, or some sort of timeshare with employees or district fleet vehicles.
No, we don't have any really surplus vehicles. All of them are in use, and most of them are work, so they're not really necessarily suitable for that application. It was a request from Northern Health at the meet and greet to, as a potential way to help recruit and retain. And mayor and council and the district of Chetwynd have always been, of course, really supportive of that. So that's why, because it was brought up in the meeting and the councilors present had suggested bringing it forward, that's why it's been brought forward as presented by Northern Health.
Councillor?
I'm not opposed to it coming
Oh,
from
yeah.
they're just, they do it in Dawson from the dealerships and it wouldn't hurt to have it from, but if not.
Yeah, Kevin and I had actually discussed that back a little while about approaching them. I bought a vehicle last year in Dawson Creek too, and that'd be the first one I try, because we do buy vehicles in Dawson Creek.
Councillor Work?
I am opposed of spending $50,000 on a vehicle for this. So, if one of those dealerships wanted to donate a used vehicle, and I'm not sure why it would have to be hybrid, but I'm definitely opposed to this recommendation.
Councillor McDonald? Got one?
Yeah, sorry, 1 second, I just lost it too. What would the vehicle be doing when it's not in use? Like if there is no nurses in the community, what would the vehicle be doing?
We would have it where we could use it if we needed to, as as a secondary vehicle transport. Maybe visitors, maybe summer staff, maybe whatever we could use it for, we would. The idea originally behind the hybrid was because it's, again, fuel economy, lowering the carbon footprint and all these other measures we're supposed to take, and that's why it was originally talked about as being a hybrid, as being more affordable.
And the retention of our nurses that are coming in, that agency nurses, are very important. If we've had some incidents at our hospital where if we didn't have agency nurses, we'd have to send kids away and people with heart attacks away. So there has been incidents where that has happened. Like if we didn't have the agency nurse, we would be in serious trouble. We have probably lost one or two. So this is to assist us in having that emergency nurse available to us. And this is just one step. And we were always asked, how are we going to assist? And this is probably one of the better ways, especially in the north here, when we have 30 to 20 below weather. And it's not easy getting around, even for us that live up here, to walk. And if they don't have a vehicle, they're walking. I say that if the provincial government is giving us money through the COVID fund or whatever fund it is, we use that to purpose Chetwynd. And this is what it's going to do. Good, Councillor.
Would the district logo be reflected on the side of the vehicle?
Yes, it would.
Would Northern Health be open to adding a dual purpose of other healthcare professional retention by using it as like how the Dawson Creek has like the I Love Dawson Creek card that, brings people around and shows them around, and using it as that type of recruitment and retention for healthcare professionals, as well as a vehicle for them to use for this purpose.
I think Northern Health would be supportive on pretty much anything that we would offer along those lines. It would just come down to a scheduling. Like right now, it's new territory. We don't know, would it be in use all the time? Some of the time, half the time, a quarter of the time, we don't know. So it would be pretty much kind of learn as we go. I could offer like an amendment where it says then that the funds be allocated from the COVID-19 reserve fund unless a donation was unable to be secured for a vehicle, something along those lines. But yeah, we would, if we purchase it for the district of Chetwynd, we're going to use it for whatever we possibly can. And that's kind of our rationale behind it.
Okay. No more discussion. All those in favor? Did you have one more, Counselor?
Sorry,
McDonald? Okay, go ahead.
I would be supportive of an amendment stating that, if a donation wasn't available, then we would be okay with using the $50,000 from the COVID relief fund. If other counselors and whom, I can't remember who seconded it.
You just need a seconder for your amendment.
Second.
Okay, discussion. With the amendment, I just want to know that timeframe, the time, we're into August and then September, October, and if we probably need to give some direction into what time should we give staff to get back to us so that we can continue. If the recommendation passes, that what time frame should you get back to us and saying that, okay, we couldn't secure a donation, we need to go and purchase, because I'm not too sure if where we're looking at a hybrid where that will be purchased from, right? So we need to be able to have some kind of time frame in there. So your amendment would just give them direction to go and ask, but we need to at least find out what time.
Counselor Small?
I just want to know, is this already something you've found and costed out, or this is just a random number?
No, it's just a random number. I didn't have any science behind it, but toward the mayor's comment about a timeline, if the motion passed the way it was, we would just proceed accordingly, and we'd get back to you as soon as we can on how we're able to do it or not.
And as for your question on timeline, I would defer probably to the CAO to see if there was any type of timeframe he believes would be necessary.
I would think no more than 60 days and no less than 30, but I'm open to discussion. And another thing on the 50, if I'm being absolutely frank, is I bought a hybrid locally used for 49, and that was one of the ways we kind of found the, we arrived at that price point. It was a reasonably priced used hybrid.
So 30 days from now, or when we, if this passed today, 30 days, that's September. And then we look, and then I don't think it should be too hard to find one. Okay. Good.
Works for me.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, question? All those in favor? Okay, carried. Any opposed? Okay. RA4 AW restaurant sign encroachment agreement.
I'd recommend that Brock and Melissa Crothers, owners of A&W Restaurant, be granted an extension on their sign encroachment agreement for a period of 5 years commencing June 18th, 2023, with the same conditions as set forth in the original agreement.
Is there, Counselor? Go ahead. You good?
No, no.
Okay, I thought you had something. Good. Okay, any discussion on the motion? Go ahead, Counselor
I
Smith.
just want to know how many people looked at the sign on their way here today.
I like your root beer. Okay. All those in favor? Carry. RA5 illegal structure 5209 44th Street.
I'll make the recommendation that council authorize the owner of the property at 5209 44th Street, Chetwynd, BC, be advised that council intends to file a notice with the Land Title Office against the property located at 5209 44th Street, Chetwynd, for an illegal structure contrary to the district's building bylaw, and that the property owners be invited to address council appealing this action at the council meeting to be held on August 21st, 2023.
Any discussion on it?
So I see that the property owner has been advised that there's a request to put a section 57 on his property, or their property rather. Has there been any reply?
Staff?
The property owners will be advised tomorrow after this meeting.
Go ahead, Councillor Wood.
This is the same one that was a little while back.
No.
Oh,
No, this is a different one.
okay. Thank you.
Just for information, section 57.
It's a fairly standard step that we take with items like this where there were no inspections taking place. It looks like a really good job on the outside, but we don't know, if everything's up to code. The roof joists are the right size and the right number of nails and all that stuff. So what it does is it puts it on title and says there may be an issue. And it relieves the district of the liability.
And the purpose of resale, would that be on that section 57 to apply to resale for anybody wanting to purchase that home?
Yes, it would come up on a title search during a real estate deal.
Is the homeowner able to get the permits kind of post-mortem here as opposed to, so he can avoid that section 57?
Well, the problem is of course it would require deconstruction of significant parts. Like you can't, you'd have to take roofing off or come in from the ceiling side. And I don't know if it's doable really without taking it apart and putting it back together again. Yeah, if they got an engineer to sign off, it would work, but would an engineer sign off without being able to actually inspect it? So it would be up to the homeowner to try to figure out a way to do that.
Because 57 affects mortgages if you're going through any financial institute where they figure that they got a section 57 on that shows up. It's pretty tough to get somebody to loan you money.
And it does seem kind of unfortunate for the homeowner, being that it's such an improvement visually
Yeah.
to what was there. And, I'm just curious what was going through this person's mind when they decided not to pull a permit.
Good, Councillor Smith.
How do we find these? Is it like,
Section 50.
like how, like, did somebody just drive by and go, oh, that looks pretty? What happened?
Oh, go ahead.
Our bylaw officer actually drove by and saw it.
Oh,
Any more? Okay. All those in favor? Okay. R86.
Make the recommendation the council approve the Peace River Regional District's request for $24,529.56 for the digitalization of historic Chetwynd news publications.
I'll second.
And of course, Councillor McDonald has recused herself from this decision because it would be a conflict.
Discussion on it? Councillor Deck?
We've a considerable amount of money into the library. I understand they did good work and everything, and then they came back and asked for it on for the new library. We have their circumstances, but it just put in a lot of money. This is another. Doesn't seem like much compared to what we've already put in, but it's a lot more.
Councillor Nelson?
I tend to agree with Councillor Deck. Kevin, how much is in the COVID relief fund currently?
We began this year with about 285,000 in that reserve, with stuff that was committed through the budget, and I'm going to say we're probably sitting on about 175,000 left. And then earlier today, 50,000 coming out, so 125.
Councillor Ward?
We shall also consider that, they will get grants to fund this, so may not necessarily come in with the COVID relief fund.
Go ahead, go ahead, staff.
I would add that as of this afternoon, library staff told me that with the regional district committing to paying half of it, it made them quite a bit more likely to be successful in applying for grants. That they hadn't been successful a few times because they were going for basically 100% of the funding and asking for 50% of the funding. That it's been signaled to them that they would be more likely to be successful.
So how would that affect us if we agree to today? Would we have to rescind whatever, or do we pay whatever the grant is not covering?
Yes, the grant funding would come off of the District of Chetwynd's donation.
Councillor Vic? I mean,
I think Julie, or Councillor,
yeah. Councillor Nelson?
came up with a good idea. In fact, I'd like to make an amendment that it come out of the COVID relief fund if whatever needs to be recouped if they didn't get the grants.
It will. So-
Yeah. Financial implications, yeah. Okay, we're good there. Well, Councillor Smith?
I was just wondering on the, cost of it. It says 5-year national hosting of materials access quote. And I'm guessing that the person that can answer it's not here, but I'm just wondering if that's a recurring cost then for the library every 5 years.
No, this is for digitalizing the existing hard copies of the newspapers going back, I believe it says 40 years. Or 46 years. And so that's their entire collection of historic newspapers for Chetwynd. And it's those ones listed, the Echo, the Chinook, the Reporter, the Pioneer. So this I can never say that word. Digitalizing is going to be a one-time cost.
Okay, I'm just wondering what this hosting of materials, because hosting usually means it has a 5-year time limit to be put on something.
Oh, it goes to a professional company that all they do is digitalize library documents. So I'm assuming that's what that means, is it'll go there and be hosted.
I think, Steve, that's the service that they put it on that allows worldwide access to it. And yeah, it's likely every 5 years they'd have to pay that.
Good catch. Thanks, Kevin.
You have more bright ideas?
I think our history is important and that we sit at this table to make it even more so. And although we have supported the Chetwynd Public Library in significant ways, I think that there's a lot of value to supporting this project as well.
All right. All those in favor? Carried.
Thanks, Kevin.
You know, you're gonna have to take pictures of every one of them by yourself. There's no digital. Take your handy camera out and
I
get a
can
picture of
understand
everyone.
So,
Oh, geez. Well, you know your way around, so you can go back and can volunteer. Wait, where you at?
yeah, that's good. Let's go with her now.
Oh, okay. 60?
Oh, sure.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a question for you. Is the hosting on that, is that gonna be a recurring cost for the library?
Correct.
Okay.
It is an annual cost.
Okay.
Annual?
No, every 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Reports for information. Street light project. Oh, where are we at here? Yep, street light project. Award. Report.
I'll recommend that council receive this report for information.
Second.
Discussion on it? Council Dick. Okay, all those in favor? Okay. June accounts payable checklist.
I'll motion that the check registered for the month of June 2023 totaling $1,282,967.29 be received.
Any questions? All those in favor? Okay. Property tax report. Property tax returns. Did you ever know? I was just guessing.
I'll make the recommendation of the property tax report dated July 11, 2023 be received for information.
Second.
Any discussion on it? All those in favor? Carried. No new business? Questions from the media? Not hearing any? Adjournment?
Second.
All those in favor? Carried.
And we'll go up further, is just up the hill here is where my grandma Marceline lived, where I lived and was raised. I'm trying to figure out today, I think we moved here in 1960. We squatted up here. Nobody owned their properties. My grandma, for extra dollars, she used to make hides every day. All my life I could remember her making hides. As you can see on the one video, this is what she did for extra dollars.
Hi, I'm Jillian McDonald, a local Tim Hortons owner for Chetwynd. And it's camp day, and all of our proceeds from hot and iced coffee go to the Tim's Foundation camps. At the restaurants locally, we're doing a bunch of different incentives. Pick a sucker for a chance to win a prize. We are doing toss a toonie for prizing, as well as selling Camp Day bracelets and Camp Day socks. So in the 30-year history of Camp Day, we have nationally raised $225 million and helped send over 300,000 kids to camp between the ages of 12 and 16. Come on down to your local Tim Hortons, or if you're in Chetwynd, come see us. We have police officers washing windows in the drive-through lane, which is always a fun time. Please come and help us send a kid to camp.
July 16th was a day filled with smiles, free food, and public arrests. All for a good cause, of course. The annual Cause for Cancer Jail and Bail was in full swing. Constable Lennon Cruz, the organizer of the event, gave us a little history.
So this event got started by Leo Sobolski, and it's been running in Chetwynd for a number of years. I can't tell you how far back, and it was something that he loved, and he just loved providing, being a sponsor for Cops for Cancer and cancer research for children.
This year hit a little closer to home since the original event organizer, Leo Sobolski, tragically passed away from the disease earlier this month. We spoke to Constable Cruz and Peace FM's very own Peyton McCulloch about Leo and his immense impact on the community.
Yeah, so Leo is a great person. I know this community loves him, and I think he's going to be missed. And he's a great promoter of this event, and just a great person. I know for myself, he got me trained as a Zumba instructor, and that was something that he wanted to bring Zumba to his community, and he just everything that he did, the guy didn't know how to say no, so no one can say no to him because he just found a way to get it done. So even in doing this event, everything that I had to put together, from getting donations from Fresh Mart and IGA, and so everybody that has contributed, I'm really thankful for everything that's how the community's come around that. And Leo has been a big part of that because this is being done in memory of him.
Leo Sobolski was a huge person in my life, got me this job here at Peace FM, and has also helped me get into college, so I owe him a lot in my life. And even though I weeded his garden and his weeds were about my height for multiple days and grabbing dog poop and the stuff that I did, it was worth it, and I get to do this awesome job that I get to be on television and doing radio. It's, I think, the best thing to do.
It was the council. Mayor Alan Kutry participated in the event. He even had chains wrapped around his neck. He explained the reason he wanted to be arrested was to remember Leo and participate in something greater than himself.
Because the prospects of Chetwynd look really good, and the great cause is for Cops for Cancer. And right now we're being touched by the community, by our great friend Leo Sobolski, who succumbed to cancer. And this opportunity for me to contribute by participating in something that's greater than just myself. I really appreciate people that go out of their way to support these things, and I'm just a small part of it. I'm nothing more than just a person like everybody else, and this is why I do stuff like this.
Chetwynd may be a small community, but the people were more than ready to open their hearts and their wallets for this event. Whether it was participating in the jail and bail, donating money for bail, or just hanging out and having a good laugh, it's clear to see that this year's jail and bail was a huge success.
You asked me, is it fun to cry over nothing? It is! I'm breaking down.
Walks me down the aisle, my mother starts to cry, but I can't see 'cause Link and I are French kissing. Listen, I can hear the bells.
Pair of new shoes with matching laces.
Permanent box at the Sheepshead races.
Strawberry on rye with a sour pickle. My personal puss on a wooden nickel.
Look at me, I'm the king of New York. Suddenly, I'm respectable, staring right at your lousy reception. Knowing with all the marketing bucks. Too good to be true. That's what they say anyway. The other shoe will drop. That's when you'll pay. Because in time, the bottom will drop out. Anytime, one of us will decide where I'm going. You can let me feel the sunshine. I feel it on my face. Won't you give me just
which is Red Dress Day, and it's the day to honor our missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and Two-Spirited people. Red Dress Day was started by Jamie Black. She was hanging red dresses in the trees of her community to represent those that we've lost and to bring awareness.
Is there anyone personally in the community here that we know that we've lost? And like, I guess through any of the highways or anything like that, do you know?
Yes, quite a few, and some very close to our family here at Tansy Friendship Center.
Sorry to hear that. And so have you guys always usually been doing something for it since it began to be recognized?
Yes, we try to make some event in whatever form it looks like each year here at Tansy. In the past, we've done drumming on the front stairs. I think this was our first year for a long time doing the walk.
guys choose to do the walk?
This year we chose to do a walk because we were thinking of different ways to make awareness, have our voices heard. And actually Jeanette went to training and learned how to make that big banner that you saw. So we put all the stories, which are the words, on that banner, and we wanted to show the whole community.
Okay, and then tell me about the small little dolls.
Oh yes, the Faceless Doll Project. So that was actually started by the Native Women's Association of Canada in 2012. Now back in 2012, there was an estimated 600 girls, women and girls, missing across Canada. Unfortunately, we don't know the accurate number, but we're looking at over 4,000. So the dolls represent these women who've become faceless victims of crime, and no two dolls are the same, and each one is a story. It's a statistic.
And did the community sort of partake here to make their own doll?
We did. We sent some kits out to our schools in the community. We showcased them at 10 businesses across the town. We got close to 200, which was really amazing.
Oh, I love people, but I hate neighbors. Well, I don't smoke, but I get the cravers. Oh, sometimes it's so hard to be me. I try to be good and deflect the bad. I break up with man, and then I'm sad. Oh, whoa, 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 it's so tough to be me. But I got best friends that say they love me and kiss a place above me and a roof over my head that needs TLC, but I won't complain. I believe in karma. I dropped to 30 pounds, well, I got tired of the drama. Oh, whoa, 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 I just gotta be me. Yeah, I got best friends that say they love me, kids smarter than me, and oh, a roof over my head that needs TLC, but I won't complain. I believe in karma. I dropped to 30 pounds, well, I got tired of the drama. Oh, whoa, 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 I just gotta be me. Yeah, 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 oh, whoa, 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 I just gotta be me. Yeah, 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 oh, whoa, 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 I just gotta be me. Woo!
Well, I don't know as it is really a band, but we just get together and play together. So anytime when people would come over to visit, we would just pull out the instruments and start playing. Dad would be on the fiddle, Joanne on the piano, Levine on the guitar. Now, I was usually pretty small then. So anyway, Clem, he learned to play the piano, and well, he plays lots of things. Yeah, no, whenever we get together, it's just always been music. There's nothing like music. Life wouldn't be the same without music.
Hanging on the wall, way up high. Panties ranging, color and size. Oh, bargain shop panties.
Bargain shop panties!
Oh, bargain shop panties.
Bargain shop panties!
So lovely, so divine. I buy 'em all the time. My bargain shop panties. Now I like how they look, and I like how they
While many kids may or may not realize it right away, this stage of their journey is crucial. It's at this level where they can begin to develop the type of habits that will determine if this sport will become a lifelong hobby or a professional career.
Who's usually the fastest?
Easton.
I hear you're fast, man. Is that true? Why are you so fast?
While having a winning mentality and being fast are great building blocks to a rider's success, every now and then, every sport sees an athlete whom God has also gifted with vision.
Take me through the track. What do you remember of the track?
The starting line, you go the straight stretch, a corner, little straight stretch, corner, straight stretch, corner, table, table, corner, single, trip